Spike taking extra care to make sure that he does not go back to the front title screen. And we're off. All right.
Okay, so
1-1. This isn't a lot more tension than we normally have in 1-1, folks. We have seen what can go wrong in this stage.
Exactly. Okay, so Spike stream a little bit pause there for the synchronization and epic synchronization there. Lumo missing that last row.
It's all right though. He got Donkey, which is probably a really smart choice for him right now.
Yeah, and he took the extra time after the voucher, the rock throwing voucher.
Yeah.
Provided
talking
he
about
died
his
twice
mental
there.
state. His mental state right now is get through the first level. So once he's there, we're going to see awesome play from Lumo the rest of the way out here.
And now getting off the second stage, because after he beat level 1, he actually died there as well. So
did he? I didn't even see that.
Yeah. After the reset, the first reset, so he died on 1 choose. So
great.
Okay, both players nailing a bonus warp. So
yep. So it is any % all stages. They are allowed to get as many bonuses as they want. It turns out that 2, possibly 3 of them, depending on the choice they go, will make the levels faster. But yeah, no, this is definitely one you want to take, so no question there.
And the second one would be elevator antics, but that's Ward 5, so we will get into that later. And the optional one is on Ward 3, so if they go for it, we'll mention it. Otherwise, we'll mention it anyways. So.
Yeah, definitely. We will for sure. So Spike having a really nice 1-3 here. Ooh, and then right as I say that, commentator's curse throws into the B. That's an extended roll that he's going for there, which will explain a little bit more going into the 5th stage here. But if you miss the extended roll right there, you do end up in that B. That's not a huge time savings, but it really goes to show a lot of what this game is there are so many places where you can save a tiny bit of time, like less than a second, but if you mess up the trick, it'll be death. So he does get it that time. You saw he rolled over the top of the B. There we go.
As one of the memes in the community, any dunk trick saves 0.4, loses a billion.
Always loses a billion. You've seen this live, folks. So water stage, the biggest thing here is my good friend, the fish, Eduardo, and he is faster than not having him, but he's also very prone to being hit, which we do not care for.
And prone to get stuck on the walls as well. And if you miss time, his lunges, basically getting hit on the first frame after the invincibility frame that he has. So Eduardo, our buddy, like there, got sniped by the Croctopus by Lumo.
And Spike too, but so it's still. I mean, by no means is this a huge gap. This is pretty typical. So going into 1-5 here, you're going to see Lumo try for one of those extended rolls to get across some gaps really quickly. Basically, the way that extended rolls work is the game adds a little bit of speed whenever you roll through an enemy. If you're not holding Y, like you initiate the roll, let go, and then press again shortly after, you get that boost of speed afterwards. So Lumo misses the extendo. Let's see what happens here. But and then misses that one. Has Diddy. This is going to be interesting. He's got to not kill that Kremling. All right, let's see what he does. He's going to go for it.
Finish casually.
He's going to go for the barrel strats. Let's see if he has any idea what he's doing. Spike gets the extendo I was mentioning on the side of the screen. I'll explain that a little better shortly because we've got crazy casual barrel action over here from Lumo.
And Lumo actually
so the lead change. Lumo gets through with Donkey and the barrels. Oh my goodness.
I mean, I don't blame Lumo considering how bad his previous run was, but still, I would say would be actually faster to die and try the extendo again. But provided what happened, I don't blame him at all. I mean,
yeah, I don't blame him either. So yeah, not great World 1 times, but so a very entertaining world run from a race perspective. Not a lot of stuff you'd expect to see there. So anyway, Spike probably going to go for another extended roll here.
He missed it.
Doesn't get it. Jumps out of. Well, I think he did get it, but jumped out of it.
So no, again, actually, he didn't get it on the position.
Did he just miss it?
Yeah, the position of Diddy when the platform was raising. Actually, if he kept rolling, he would fall into oblivion.
Yeah. So that's a really tricky extended roll. I mean, you can save a second or lose a billion, as Kalar's already shared for us. Spike going here into the first intended warp in the game. Just jump over that barrel, land in another one, and you skip the minecart level that nobody could beat when they were 7.
Yeah, and actually, some top players actually managed to skip the donkey barrel, but so tricky actually for new runners and even experienced runners to go through that barrel and manage to hit the warp, that sometimes you go into the minecart. So
Yeah.
both players grabbing that barrel, making sure they are safe.
That's a really good point, actually. Anytime you might see these guys rolling through a barrel, they have to tap Y and let go of Y and then repress it again after they pass the barrel so they don't pick it up. So there's a lot of really technical subtlety to movement in this game. Spike makes it across that gap really nicely.
Oh.
Bouncy Bonanza here is probably the first really hard stage in the game. Fortunately, there's a DK barrel there that he can pick up right afterwards. Gives Lumo a little bit of time back
to save, provided he doesn't get hit as well as Spike.
Yeah,
but
no
apparently
guarantee.
he didn't.
But it looks like they're both through the stage, and now we got just a couple more developer-intended warps. Stop and go station, another pretty difficult stage that just gets skipped because you can walk to the left and be done with it.
And fortunately, not sure if a developer oversight on this rocks, if you row, which Spike apparently forgot how to row, you don't get hit by them. But as you saw there, as he was not rolling, he got hit. But Lumo, since he rode through the rocks, he didn't get hit, and now he's setting up the super jump.
So Spike actually went back into the level to take the warp and grab Diddy because you do need to have 2 Kongs to set up this super jump. We'll explain it in a little more technical detail later, but the general way it works is you are able to use Donkey to get up to a warp off the top of the screen that normally the game wants you to roll a tire over a gap for, and rolling the tire over the gap is completely impossible, and it's also faster to do it this way.
It's not impossible. It just
it's impossible.
Loses a billion.
No, it loses everything because it's impossible, and you'll fall in the hole and die. But that's the technical term again. So Neki, easy boss. All bosses in this game are pretty easy, but then you always end up dying on them, and it makes you really sad because you shouldn't have died because they're easy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we do need to have Donkey there because the next level, actually, there is a developer intended warp, but it's Donkey only warp. So
yeah, it's really strange. Not only is it Donkey only, but it's the only warp on a timer in the entire series. If you don't get to this barrel quickly enough, it's not going to be there, which is really, really strange. Like that they had this idea, but then they didn't use it anywhere else.
I mean, wow. Actually, fortunately, that they only used one in one level. Like
that's probably
on
true.
Top 3 town, that's I would say the hardest warp to reach.
It is, yeah. You have to make sure you do a full jump and you get the right bounce off the Neki to get up there in treetop. It's really easy to mess up when you're just learning. Spike with a tire roll there, a little bit risky play, but he's feeling confident. So we'll talk a lot more about that at the end of World 4. So Luma's coming up here on the super jump. So watch Diddy. He's going to go up off the top of the screen. That's important. He's going to grab Diddy back, and then when Donkey gets hit, Diddy is going to be ready to jump and bounce off that croc, not jump. So the way that happens is when Diddy flies off the top of the screen, the game stores a flag that says you're basically going up really high. As long as you don't jump again, the game will still think Diddy is flying up really high. So by getting hit with Donkey, you're holding down B while you're getting hit, and then you bounce off of an enemy. You're able to keep that upward momentum from when he left and fly really, really high. So actually at this point, both of them are falling through the level, and Luma's going to land right about now, and Spike is also falling. So the vast majority of this level is actually falling. That's how quickly you go up with this particular trick.
And actually, there are levels that you can use super jump, though they are not faster than the intended way. However, you can do sacrificeless method that basically if you switch Kongs and the first action of the Kong that stored the super jump is falling over an enemy, it will trigger the same effect.
Interesting. Yeah, I did not know that. So that's cool. But as he mentioned, that trick is slower elsewhere. So you're seeing both of these players choosing to opt not to get espresso. Getting espresso from a bonus in this stage is maybe 2 to 3 seconds slower than doing it the optimal way, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
Spike doing the stage quite a bit better, actually. He's using a lot of those extended rolls to get over those gaps really quickly. And
Oh,
for those of you
almost
who were,
failed it.
that was, I almost cursed him again. But for those of you who watched his race against Void I think last week, this was the stage that led to a game over. So he's clearly put in a ton of work and is really it's really just showing that skill right now. So very, very close race as they head over to the map warp.
Yeah, map warp time. Okay, as we were trying to explain earlier, essentially on World 1 is the only world that actually in between levels has corners. So if you manage to hit one of the face buttons, A, B, X, and Y, on the same frame, one of the Kongs or the Funky Copter reaches the corner, basically it will warp you towards the end of the level. The one that we selected is actually sent you towards the end of Ogang, and Lumo had a little bit of trouble there because he
mashing
entered
a little bit too
reptile. But fortunately, since he had only Diddy,
right,
he was able to pull the backup that's with only Diddy. Otherwise, sometimes if you have both Kongs, that's impossible because
right,
it needs to be both Kongs on the same frame, on the same spot, and they never are on the same spot. So fortunately for Lumo, only Diddy pays off.
Yep. So this is a surprisingly tricky water stage. Like, it's really easy to get hit with Eduardo while you move through. Well, I mean, Lumo's showing us right here. Like, this section with all these fish and then the section with all the sharks right afterwards is really kind of treacherous. You have to know exactly what you're doing to move through there safely. And getting hit, a lot of times you get hit and lose a Kong immediately thereafter. And usually you won't have Donkey at this point. So it's death. But
exactly.
Fortunately, he was able to salvage it and get the fish back.
Yeah, this is a level that movement matters as much as when to use the lunge animation with Eduardo, because if you miss time his attack movement, basically you will get hit for sure.
Yep, absolutely. His hitbox is terrible. That's why I completely hate the fish. He's just bad.
The fish only gets love on the third game. Developers wanted us to hate him until the last game. Even then, I
still hate him because the levels he's in are awful.
Poor Eduardo. So Spike with the lead after World 3, entering World 4.
We actually get to see World 4 between these two guys. Pretty good day. Didn't happen in the first race. Finally, some snow.
Actually, Spike reached World 4, but
he didn't go in. Yeah,
due to audio issues. So,
yep. So we are happily watching him make progress. Yeah. And Lumo is a little bit closer than he was in the last attempt. So Spike here using this barrel to do a slope jump. Basically, if you're holding a barrel while you're on a slope, you're able to get a boost like that. And so by doing it at those places, you're able to bounce across all those neckies. And misses it, goes for the extendo, doesn't quite make it into the barrel.
Happens. Fortunately, it has the midpoint barrel there, really, so it's not that much of a time loss.
It's really not. That's a pretty common death and also a really relatively safe one.
And now he getting that well-hidden barrel that will shoot him directly to the end of the level.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I was upset about the first time I found out it existed, because you spend so much time working on that freaking barrel blast section of this level, but then you don't even have to do it at all in the speed run. So I'm glad we don't. It would be pretty slow.
Wow. Okay.
Spike. Switch to Donkey for the warp. Probably a good choice. There is a way to use Diddy to get there but you have to do kind of a glitch where you climb across the top of the screen. But still pretty quick to use Donkey.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that much of a time loss.
No, not at all.
I believe it would be less than a second in between both Kong switch. So
Lumo choosing not to go for the full extendo there, probably a wise choice. As you saw on Spike's side, it does result in death if you mess it up.
Also, actually, that last row, it loses time, but you can actually do it with Donkey. It's actually I think it's safer doing that role with Donkey rather than with Diddy, but
Interesting.
it might I might be a person of option there.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody switches to Donkey intentionally, but I mean, if when you're just learning, like, there's no shame in going for strats that help you get through. It's faster to get through than it would be to die, so you're still
Exactly.
going for speed. So Lumo trying to do the hover across the
And
top and
enter the
enters the
bonus.
bonus. Spike, however, moving very nicely through 1-3 with Espresso.
4-3 with Espresso.
4-3, yes,
the
4-3.
bird.
Sorry.
The one level that even if you have Diddy, if you lose the bird, you dead.
Oh yeah,
Unfortunately.
the getting hit with the bird there is catastrophic. So we'll see how Lumo handles the stage. Spike, meanwhile, moving into Croctopus. Beautiful level, beautiful music.
Yeah, and
but not a
basically-
lot to really talk about.
Yeah, basically, you is the midpoint of the speedrun because the first half we would say it's kinda easy, but the real gauntlet starts after this level actually. So this is the moment that if you had a really bad first 3 words, is the moment to shake off and think about getting the frames. Or
Mhm.
if you really have a good first half, it's just okay, let's skip the pace.
Definitely, it's very much an intermission, like you said, the midpoint, and it's follows up a series of really hard levels and all the stuff that you normally reset over. Oh, Lumo just misses the tire. That's really bad. And as you saw, we don't grab the midpoint here because it's honestly grabbing the midpoint and not having the bird for the rest of the stage would probably be slower than just starting at the beginning again. But you got to be careful to bounce on that tire. But with this, so anyway, as you can see there, the Croctopus is right after a pretty difficult stage, and loses the bird and so making my point for me. I should stop doing that to them.
And actually, interesting point of Croctopus, sorry to interrupt, is actually the only water level that we did not grab the fish at all. It's mainly for 2 reasons. One is on the very end of the level, and second of all, even if you grab the bird, the fish, is actually lags the last part a lot, like a lot of lag.
Yeah, it's definitely not faster, but there is one comment in chat that Croctopus might as well be an auto scroller for how much time you can save on it, and I'm gonna actually disagree with that a little bit. There is a lot of time you can save in Croctopus. We didn't talk too much about corners and walls, but every single one of these corners is a possibility to lose time. So every time you see one of these guys bonk into a corner, that's a time loss. So really, really top tier players are going to save or do this stage a lot more quickly than they will others. Now, it's pretty boring. There's not a lot of risk of death. But it's a super easy place to lose time. Very, very different than an auto scroller would be. In fact, I would say Croctopus might be one of the places you can most clearly see the difference between, say, a top tier player and someone who's just kind of good but not great.
Shoutouts for those madmen that do times 10 Croctopus chase race.
Oh my goodness, exactly.
Okay, so Spike entering Torchlight. The developers wanted us to grab Squawks, which is a baby and only holds for us a flashlight, but unfortunately it creates a huge amount of lag. So
Lumo,
we are not friends
saving
with lag.
that. Oh my goodness! I don't know if you saw Lumo got hit and with the bird and landed on the rope, and he is. Don't hit the thing. Okay, he's through. All right. That was sorry. Yeah, you're making great points about the lag, but Lumo pulling it out.
Yeah, no, totally fine on that.
Yeah. So anyway, Spike's moving on to Rope Bridge Rumble, Tire Roll City, which is a fantastic level, a lot of fun.
No super jump rope.
You really, really quickly.
No super jump rope here.
Nope. Super jump roll here saves about 7 seconds, I think. Saves 12, seconds, loses 6, I think, is what they say.
10 seconds. According to what I was spoken with Killer Hood, actually, one of the absolute madmen that got in 2 runs, actually, on this very tournament. Actually, he was comparing his ILs before and after Super Jump Roll. And for him, it saved about 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's right around that. I think it's 10 to 12 depending on how you move through the level. Tire rolls were the thing you saw Spike doing, where he literally just rolled off the edge of the tire, but that's a lot harder than it looks. You have to be positioned well, and you have to time your roll at the right point. It's really easy to do once you know it, but learning it is a little bit challenging. So Spike choosing to sacrifice Donkey there to skip the 4th cycle, so Naughty didn't do the 4 bounces. By getting hit right after the 3rd, you're able to save a bunch of time there. So that tells us he will not be going for the super jump roll in Oil Drum Alley, which is probably the right choice for someone with well, now that he's got a 36, you might want to start thinking about it. But
I mean,
it's a fun
basically
stage.
going for all frames. Basically, you're aiming for 33 or lower, so sub 34 actually.
Right.
But for having a 35, the super jump rolls are not mandatory, if I recall correctly. So
No, definitely not. Yeah, you can get a 33 without him with no problem. Spike, however, moving very well through this level. The big thing to know is that the fire is pretty fake. It only can hurt you right in the middle, so landing on the edges or jumping through the fire is not a problem at all.
One comment: the fire is fake if you did it, but if you donkey, the fire is real.
Yeah. Also, like I said, it is not fake in the middle, which is exactly where Spike just landed. So, yeah, but he's got a pretty good lead over Lumo.
Don't play with fire, kids. Essentially, don't play with fire.
It's really dangerous.
Exactly. As I saw there, we had a burnt Diddy.
Really, pretty much everything that the Kongs are doing is a don't try this at home, kids. Don't roll around in the jungle. Don't jump on oil barrels. Don't swim with sharks and swordfish.
Don't row into huge gaps that will send you towards oblivion. So.
Yeah, I really am on my commentator curse A game tonight. This is pretty good.
And say goodbye to developer Nintendo Warps, because Spike just nailed the last one in whole game. So, and now say goodbye to bonus warp, because Elevator Antics is the last one you will see.
Yep.
So now they will have to finish the level fully. So.
Yep. So this level is quite difficult. This roll here too. Oh, he's not choosing to do the roll. Interesting. He's got the 36 without doing that roll. Probably why he got there and didn't die a billion times and frustrate himself, because that roll that he chose to forego is quite difficult. But here's the bonus that Kalarsa's mentioned.
Yeah. Oh, that row. Actually, I was learning that the other day, trying to get rid of my meme super jump, and it's really interesting that if you jump on that row, you can basically glitch towards the rope and die, or basically don't have enough speed and die anyway. So
yep, it's very finicky. You want to roll kind of right off the middle of the platform, and since you're landing from the air, you don't get and have a lot of space to build up any momentum. Meanwhile, Spike getting the elevator skip there, where he kind of scrolled the screen to facing the camera to the left to get the elevator timing properly done. And now we're on to Poison Pond, the hardest water stage in the game, and probably one of the most critical to keep the fish if you want to move quickly through it. But Spike moving confidently through the beginning. This next section might be the most likely one to lose the fish, but we'll see how he does. So far, so good.
Yeah, the hardest due to the fact that there's so many enemies going around, and those mincers that actually moves really fast, that basically everything can hit you. But Spike managing that wonderfully.
He's playing very well, and he's going to go for a clip here and gets the clip. Really nice Poison Pond from Spike Vegeta. That you can tell that he's put in some work there, because that was really in-impressive. Gets the final charge, and he's got Engard all the way through the stage. Well played, Spike.
This is Void's Poison Pond. Void's Toxic Tower material. So okay, now minecart madness.
Some fun happening here.
Madness. So okay, basically not sure if he got the arrow glitch. So will he get okay?
I'm done. You've got a jump roll, ladies and gentlemen. The first jump roll of the game. So
okay, let's go back.
You're in the middle of explaining the roll through the air, and then this happens.
Okay, essentially what happens is that if you run with Donkey, or actually you could do with Diddy, I'm not sure, but we use Donkey because we prefer having Diddy. If you run directly to the minecart and you get hit, basically Donkey would go on the hit animation as if he was getting hit on the floor. So basically that allowed Diddy just forgot the loss of gravity and roll in the air infinitely until a new platform
Yep.
appears.
And so the way that the jump roll works is if you're ever at a point where you're on the ground and able to roll, and you're able to bounce on an enemy at the same moment. So the way that would ever work is if you're like on a slope, or in this case, you're able to roll because of the rolling through the air glitch, and you can land on an enemy because you're falling through the air. There's one frame where you're able to roll and bounce at the same time. If you press Y on that particular frame, the jump roll happens. So we'll see if Spike goes for some others. I would expect he'll have a few more setups that we'll get to watch and maybe explain a little better how you do that when you're on the ground. But really, really cool that he pulled that off.
And Lumo
That's a
going
risky one.
with-
That's a really risky
yeah,
one.
That's
Because as
the
we
risky
mentioned,
one.
it's one frame. So if you press it one frame late, that means you've hit the enemy and you're bouncing, which means your rolling through the air glitch is gone and you're dead. So you always want to try to err on the side of early for that particular frame. Meanwhile, Spike is moving through Blackout like a crazy person,
Like an absolute madman.
like an absolute madman, like Spike Vegeta, basically. Brilliant Blackout from Spike. Really, really impressive.
And Lumo taking notes on my scrub run and going for super jump on ODA and elevator antics.
Yep.
And
he's taking it
what
safely.
I was about to say on the jump row, actually you're invincible on that jump row state with all enemies except the beast. That's why Spike had to jump out of it in order to reach the last minecart section.
Correct. Yep. Correct. So they can't keep going at that point. So the question, why is Spike not grabbing Donkey? And so Donkey actually loses frames on the world map. I believe it's 10 frames per stage that you have Donkey transitioning with you. So if you can avoid having him, you do. I mean, sometimes you'll grab him as a safety, but a lot of times having him doesn't really make it that much safer because he'll move so much more slowly through the rest of the level anyway that you might as well just die and start over.
Exactly. So, okay, Dumb Drum, really easy and boring boss. Basically, shoots you enemies, you jump out of it. Auto scroller, basically, but we can fast that up by hitting the second enemy on the air. So, not huge of a deal.
And so Spike now is in a true auto scroller with tanked up trouble, and there are 2 jump rolls in this level. I would not expect him to go for the first one. We'll call it Creme Tut, so Tut for tanked up trouble. But Bird Tut, I will expect to see him go for, and we'll let you know when that's coming up. That's basically using one of the neckies to set up a jump roll, and we'll see.
Yeah, actually, the Creme Tut is hard because you need to first of all wiggle as soon as you get the jump roll, and then there is a second wiggle that you need to do in order to skip the bees.
Yep. So coming up on Bird Tut, Lumo losing in guard there is bad. So doing the setup, and he did not get it. So he pressed Y a little bit too early. You know it's early because he got the roll instead of the bounce. But what he was trying to do was position his movement such that he ran on top of the necky while it was underneath the platform thing, and if you land on an enemy while it's underneath you, obviously you bounce, but since you're still on the platform, you can roll. And so all that movement was to position the necky so that he'd get there when it was below and could hopefully hit that frame by pressing Y. Sadly does not, so loses a minute here, but
finishing the level as intended way.
Not that great. Lumo, meanwhile, going to go for that rolling through the air glitch. Donkey gets hit, as Kalaris described, and we'll see if he's able to go get that jump roll. Yep, chooses to forgo it, and he went through the rope.
So he glitched out.
So he kind of teleported back there, but he salvaged it and didn't get confused.
That's actually what happens on Elevator Antics. If you roll and even think of jumping, that's what happens, essentially.
Exactly.
You glitch out backwards and then basically sending you to oblivion. Fortunately here, since we are on the glitch state, essentially you lose a little bit of time, but you're not dead. So
yep, exactly. Lumo almost missing it because he went over the platform and he was able to save it. Didn't think he'd be able to make it to that minecart, so he wisely chose to head backward. Spike now kind of going through the gauntlet of this game. All of World 6, there's a lot of really tricky platforming the rest of the way through. So he's going to be grabbing Rambi here.
Super jump setup. The super jump.
Oh, he's doing a super jump for this. Interesting.
Yeah,
I've
actually,
actually not ever seen this. Interesting choice.
uh, he went for the sacrifice version. Actually, that's what I was playing earlier. Actually, you can use the Rambi crate to go for the sacrificeless version of
Got it.
this.
Yep, that makes sense.
But
So yeah,
still,
Spike choosing the. Does this something normally Spike does, or is he doing this as a for the
mm,
tournament?
I mean, for the way he went for it, I would say he's pretty normal on this one.
Yeah, he looked pretty intentional there and going for that. That's interesting. I've actually never seen this particular thing, so we're kind of getting a lot more super jumps here than we would in a normal race. So that's really kind of neat to see all the different ways you can get through the level. So there he goes. He let go and landed
Yeah,
sort of right at
or
the
you
time he
can
needed
be a
to get in.
really scrub person and do 8 super jumps in a run. So, but that's not recommended. You lose a billion.
Yeah, I'm inspired now to go play more because I didn't even know that existed, and Spike's time is like a minute and a half better than mine. So I need to get to work. I've been playing too much Mario RPG nonsense over here.
Uh, nice, nice rotato strats.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Peach.
Shout outs to Pidge, all the shout outs. But yep, so Spike moving really well here through Misty
Yeah.
Mine.
Lumo, unfortunately, I saw earlier he got a dad on our boy Black. He got a dad on the level. Most not sure if it
Yep.
was on Blackout. Most likely he did because
It was on
dark.
Blackout. Yeah, he just
On
overjumped the
the
tires slightly.
yeah,
Ooh, and
and
there he was. So going for that rope, you got to be pretty confident in knowing the position of that particular rope, and that means your approach and the
now
movement you take to
he's
get to it has to be
shoot.
consistent. So
Oh,
I'm wondering if he's gonna maybe take this a little more safely after
yeah.
these guys.
and
And
and,
he
save
goes more
as well.
confidently. So he had consistent movement there. That's why the rope was where he expected it to be.
Okay, so and Spike wiggling a little bit on the end of Misty Mine, making sure not get wrecked by Snake, and
Yeah.
now going through that glitch claptrap that you can roll through him. I'm not sure if it was a developer oversight or it was a freaking stuff that they put as a troll is thinking, oh, you can roll through them, and then you try to roll to the next
That
one.
would be a great troll.
And you try to roll through the second one and get hit, you would be like, what's going on? But Spike going
Yep.
through it,
It is
neutral.
It is indeed a glitch because that is fixed in the 1.2 version of this game. So if you try to play it on VC, that won't work. But
Oh.
that's a good note. These guys are playing on either the 1.0 or 1.1 software versions of the game. 1.2 fixes a lot of glitches, including map warps and the fanfare skip, which isn't something we really talked about. But it loses a lot of time to play on other versions.
Essentially, the other day we were discussing that on Discord, and just by fanfares, you lose a full minute.
Yeah,
It
it's
was 60
significant.
seconds. So it's really like huge time loss that actually happened on Darko's race. I don't remember with who he was racing. It's really hard to take because the fanfare takes so long, and Spike not going for Peril's jump rope.
Yeah, choosing to forego it completely. Perils, there is another jump roll you can set up there because if you notice, there was a slope on the with the mine platformy thing. So he's just going to kind of try to lock in this win, move as confidently as he can through Perils. I don't know if he knows. Ooh, actually, really nice double extendo there to get under there.
Nice.
So some pretty advanced tech coming out from Spike. So you can really see that he's put in a lot of work in this game. He hasn't fully optimized everything, but that was actually some really high-level tech that he just did there. Going for golden.
And golden barrel.
Golden barrel.
Okay, this
That's
run is valid.
Purely for show. Thank you, Spike. The chat appreciates that.
Valid run. So
Valid run.
Exactly. Okay, so Lumo entering World 6, and I'm scared for him because he's has only one life.
Oh, does he really? Yeah, that's not good. Hopefully he's paying attention to that.
I thought that he was going to save on World 5 because of that, but since he didn't die, most likely he just didn't go for it.
So the golden barrel, a lot of questions about that, is basically a graphical glitch where the game can only have so many color palettes loaded at a given time. So by doing the setup where you I don't know exactly which sprites screw it up, but by facing the camera to the left and timing when that barrel loads in such a way as to get that particular timing, a different sprite's color palette is on the screen and it gets transferred to the barrel. You see that sometimes in other games like DKC2. There's in 102% runs in Crockhead, it comes to mind. Squitter, the spider, will transfer his color palette to a banana coin and cause like this rainbow coin effect, which is pretty cool. But it's just kind of a neat little thing to show off.
And Spike entering K-Row, I believe it will be a high 36 for him or a low 37.
Yep, really nice run from Spike Vegeta for sure.
Unless
he's got to be happy with that.
On the cannonballs, that I saw that happen.
Yeah, it can happen. It's not terribly likely at this level, but yeah, you never know.
Exactly. Squidder is AKA Shoes, as Zara the Mant would call him.
I taught my son, my 6-year-old son, to call him Shoes, and that's what he does now.
Shout out to Zara for all the awesome names he has given over the years.
Oh yeah, he absolutely has.
And Spike Vegeta apparently got hit on one of the cannonballs, and now going solo donkey, stop the timer, let's go, the end for him. So, okay. I know why this game is so bad. It has a claptrap in charge of coding. And on Lumo, as you saw there, that's the sacrificeless I was talking about.
I'm glad that he showed that off, because I hadn't seen that before either. Really,
actually,
interesting.
That lets you actually, if he is really willing to, go for the super jump row on Misty. But it would be really madman if he goes for it.
I want to see it. I believe.
Okay, Spike got hit by the crown. Maybe he jumped too early.
Coming up on the last hit here, but doing the obligatory jumps. Shout outs to Garrison.
Yeah.
He taught us all that is a thing. Really nice final hit. Spike with a 36.59.
Wow.
Very nice run, Spike.
And actually, nice KBZ was actually saying, he said earlier, looks like a 37 flat or maybe 36, 58, 59.
He called it. Speaking of KBZ,
we will be seeing him next.
We will be seeing him very shortly. Ooh, Lumo, something. He must have let go of B a little bit early there to drop that, because he got the super jump effectively. So.
Because basically he needs to. I would let you know when he normally would supposed to release B if going for super jump strats. Actually, on this first oil drum, that's not oil, but let's make sure it's oil drum. After the first gap, that's when you need to release B on the super jump strats. And maybe he just released too early, therefore he landed just on an enemy. Which is really bad if you get hit on the last enemy when you have one Kong only. Shoutouts to my first race.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah. 2 claptraps in 2 different levels. Wow. So, still, Lumo. Oh, losing Diddy again. Wow. I'm scared by Lumo. Not sure.
He's not making this easy for us here.
Yeah, I mean,
getting Diddy back, so we're okay.
Okay.
So the big thing with all the Donkey Kong Country games, it's not so Donkey's really slow and you don't know what to do with him, but whenever you have a Kong you're not used to in any of the 3 games, you're almost always just kind of guessing, because you never really practice with the Kong you're not used to. So it's almost like playing it semi-blind. You know where the levels are, but the movement through those is going to be completely different. And with Donkey, it's just significantly worse than in any of the other games, because his movement is so much worse than Diddy's. Whereas in the other 2 games, like Diddy, Dixie, or Kitty and Dixie, their movement's pretty similar with, a few tiny variations and speed changes, but Donkey is just a huge difference.
Okay, Lumo finishing Misty and entering Lupilites with 1 level that is actually 2, because still Still alive. He still can
Yeah.
finish this.
Still alive. In fact, he's almost to another extra life. So honestly, the fact that he's getting through World 6 without game overing so far, I might see if my curse abilities for the night live up again. But so far, so good from
Yeah.
Lumo. That's
And
maybe the most impressive thing about this.
yeah, he got the DK barrel there, so Diddy's back. Nope, this is fine.
That was an
Uh,
official. Kitty is better than Donkey. Kitty is a
yeah,
billion times better than Donkey.
yeah. I mean,
There's no
Kitty,
contest between the two.
Kitty, since he's on the objectively the best Donkey game, he's of course objectively the best Kong available.
By every
Come on.
possible measure, Kitty is better than Donkey.
Objectively the best Kong. Oh, not the best place to lose Diddy. Not
He should be
the
okay.
best. Yeah, but still. If he managed to go through Mankey, okay, he got it. Okay, he got it. Okay.
Michael Goldfish, unsurprisingly, not or objecting to my conclusion that Kitty is better.
Objectively the best. Come on.
Donkey does get a rather significant buff in Tropical Freeze.
Yeah. Haven't played that yet. That's
You should.
a thing that I should. I know I should,
should.
because that's a thing that I should get soon.
It's very different. It's a very different kind of platformer, but it's beautiful. It's an absolutely beautiful game.
Oh, Winky
Nice little
Token.
extendo there to get the swag frog. Is he setting up a jump roll here? Ooh, try. Ooh, that's not quite how you want to set up the jump
He
roll.
forgot. Maybe he jumped a little bit too late on that extendo to set up this jump roll.
I want
It
to see
was
him get
hard.
another frog, dude. I want to see one of the Animal Buddy bonus rooms.
for the fans.
For me, not the fans. I don't care what the fans think.
Okay, now.
Sorry, I love you
safety.
guys. You guys are great.
Okay.
Yeah, just oh no, interesting. This is a different setup than I'm used to.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
that's
that would have
the-
worked. Though he pressed Y a little bit too early, but
Yeah.
indeed that would have been a good setup for the jump roll.
I mean, it really look different, but still, if it works.
Yeah, I've seen there was an old way to set it up where you stayed on the platform and jumped around on the right there, but I've never seen that setup where you go off to the arrow platform. Higher level players will just set up the timing of their roll and jump from the left to do it. But good attempt all the same from Lumo, trying to sell something out of this.
So, okay, he managed. Though he lost. Oh, he lost Diddy on the worst portion of the level possible.
So I don't know I mean, it is a dangerous place to lose Diddy, but I think Donkey makes these throws a little more easily. I know when I would play it growing up, I always switched to Donkey here because the throws are easier, but he's going to have to be super slow. I don't even know if he's going to be able to make this roll at the end.
No, he can't.
Yeah, he can't.
I
Yeah, so
tried
good
several
call.
times. Several times of failing. Just in case. No, he can't. Unfortunately, Donkey does not have the speed and the jump height in order to reach those gaps.
Yeah, it's good that Lumo knew that. That I could easily see that being something where, like I was saying earlier, you're used to doing a certain thing with one Kong, and you try it with the other, and it just simply doesn't work.
Yeah, now he's not getting hit by Neki, so this is fine. Unfortunately, he's not subbing me on this race, so
That was your minimum criteria for
yeah,
good.
like it's really not hard to sub 43. I
Yeah,
just
go get
had
it. Come on,
yeah,
Lars. Go
I
get that
just
sub
don't
43.
play. I
Just do it.
suck playing games.
Hey,
when I get that
we all
list,
do, man. That's called speedrunning.
exactly.
Speedrunning just means you've died every way it's possible to die.
Exactly. Still. Yes, TGC ID1. We are having a race later on. We are just finishing this one waiting for this one to finish, and then we will get the second one started over. So let me just pull out. Okay, the channel wasn't made yet for the new one, so Lumos, we could say he's a new runner for this game, but not a new runner in general. So not sure if I lost Antilles or my internet.
Oh,
is
sorry,
acting
sorry.
up.
I had I wasn't holding my
Oh
talk.
no,
I have
no,
push
no
talk on
problems.
because I have many young children in my house, and at any moment they could attack me, and I would hate to unleash that on you all. But
I
so
prefer kids.
Lumo is a DKC3 runner who's done a lot of 103% in particular, and he also has the greatest water percent video that any of you could ever possibly hope to see. So
Yeah.
if anybody has who can post a link in there, has a link to the water percent run, that would be a great intermission for
Lumo.
the two
I'm gonna
between
search
the
for
two
it.
races. Yes,
I'm gonna
if
search
we
for
can
it.
get this in there, the people need to see water RTA. It's dog jump is just might be the single greatest trick I've ever seen executed.
Is this the one? Okay, this one.
There it
Okay,
is.
everyone posted it. I'm
Perfect.
gonna watch it again because I'm gonna watch it
So-
again. Like
Man, the myth, the legend, and Lumo is done.
GG.
Lumo is done. GG, Lumo. You made it through. That felt a lot better than the forfeit from before. It has to. We appreciated everything you had to share
Actually,
with us.
now that you mentioned, I didn't realize he actually jumped over his dog.
Dog jump, man.
I did.
The way the dog looks at the camera is just too good.
Yeah.
It's just too good.
Poor little pup. I know it's not a little pup, but poor little pup. Like, human, what you doing? Okay.
Nathan with the play-by-play on water percent RTA.
So.
Anyways, so with that, we are moving over to another race here shortly. I believe those guys are going to start getting set up soon. I'm going to go ahead and step away for a moment. Actually, no. Let's see if we can get these guys in for a call. I didn't even think about that. See if they want to.
Yeah,
talk about it.
let me just pull here. Interview both.
We should have pulled in Spike when he finished. We didn't even.
We are
thinking?
just a little dumb. So. Okay, join, waiting, and we will pull you up. Okay, so we are waiting. Spike said he will join in. I'm not sure about Lumo, but I'm making sure to check Discord. Make sure as soon as Spike. Okay, so Spike's on waiting. What's up, Spike? GG. And please press the push to talk because otherwise
More sound problems from Spikevegeta.
Okay, gosh. How are you boys doing tonight?
Doing well, sir. How are you doing with that 3659?
God, that's I was sitting there, like, of course, I take the death like halfway through 1-3. I'm like, oh, baby. I can already tell what this is going to be. And that ends up being my second best run ever.
That's awesome.
Which, the fact that, like, that's kind of sad. Like, the fact that I had to grind to get a 36 and then that was a 36.
It's funny.
I mean, it's, that speed running is you keep grinding and grinding and grinding, and then the run that you would have loved like a week ago is all of a sudden like total crap. But
yeah, that's how it goes for sure. Yeah, you've put in a lot of work. I guess the last I saw you was obviously your race against Void last week.
Woo!
But then I've seen your tweets since then, and you've clearly been putting in a lot of work. Like when you got to 3-4, you were going for it, man. You were not going to let that stage beat you again.
No, I didn't care, and I was, I'm a dirty screen watcher. I was watching the race. I was watching the whole thing. I knew I was already behind him, obviously after the death in 1-3. And I just said, I don't care. Like, I get to a point with strats in a speed game where, like, I'll do a couple of little safeties usually when I'm in a tournament, like getting the save point in Blackout Basement, like a few little things here and there. But I am confident in Temple Tempest. Like, I can execute that.
Yeah.
So I refuse to just say, no, I'm going to start skipping out on strats there. I don't know. So it was nice to get that for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you're definitely inspiring me to get back to the drawing board here, because we were pretty close in time for a really long time, and you've just put me to shame here with everything you're doing. So I need to step my game up a little bit.
I haven't looked enough at the brackets. I know you were in the higher end of your pool. Could we possibly meet? Are you gonna be, I guess, out of pools? It
depends on how my race Sunday goes against Parisian player. I mean, I think that race should, if you were to put it on the board, it'd be similar to the race you just had with Lumo.
Right.
So I should be able to win, but it's Donkey 1. Anything can happen. So we'll see. That would be a fun matchup. I would love to get that one.
Yeah, for sure. And again, guys, shout outs to Lumo. Our PBs were actually incredibly close going into this.
Yeah,
I had a huge PB last night. That kind of made a little bit of a separation, but he's also was gone for like a week, so he didn't have nearly.
Yeah, we did mention that. We mentioned you guys were pretty close, and that Lumo, it was not as well practiced. But speaking of Lumo, sir, would you walk us through your mind every single frame of the way through these two races?
I'll say that for my first race, I was a little bit nervous, if you guys couldn't tell. So my hands were shaking before I even pressed .ready. So
wow.
You know what's
all over the place.
I've told people about this because I'm a stage actor, and I've done like probably a couple dozen of these tournament races. I still get nervous every time. Just so many little nerves. So I would never like worry about that sort of thing. Like, I think it's natural for us to have a bit of an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, and I mean, from what I speak to people, actually, like even experienced players, like go all nervous until the first mistake they do, and they're like, okay, mistake are done.
I'm not gonna PB, right?
Yeah,
right.
Pressure's off.
I mean, I still get nervous even just like when I'm running solo by myself. Like even practice, if I'm just like doing well, I'll still get nervous then. So being on speed gaming, it opened a whole new world of ways for me to die. It was fun.
Yeah, you had quite a few impressive deaths and moments, but really I'd say through World 3 this was a really interesting race. Like we had 3 or 4 lead changes in the first 3 worlds, and you guys were just really going back and forth. I was really glad that we did the re-race. So
yes,
thank you guys for agreeing to do that. That made it really fun.
Agreed. I've never had like more than third try map warp before, so I don't know what was going on there.
Dude, I've been
speaking of map warps, Spike.
What did you do?
I was right there with you in the like before we restarted. I got it like 12th try.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I did. And I also entered Reptile Rumble and started selected out of that, so things were going pretty well.
Yeah.
You definitely both gave us a lot to talk about, and alternate strats. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you don't when you're one of the commentators for this tournament, you don't want like Eason and Peachy. You're just like, oh, okay, well they hit everything, cool. No, you want racers like us who are going to keep it exciting. You're always going to be on your toes.
It's like watching NC2A versus NFL. You never know what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Or having someone to nail one of the jump ropes and then like starting goofing off. That's the best part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I usually super jump over both Loopy Lights and Misty, and I missed both of those, so I was completely winging those levels. I have not learned them, so that was all just.
Did you know that you only had 1 life going into World 6?
Yes.
Okay, we weren't sure about that.
That pressure.
I was fully expecting to game over in Blackout Basements. When that didn't happen, I was pretty okay with the rest of the run.
Yeah, you did really well. I honestly, just getting through it, especially with as many times as you had Donkey, was pretty impressive. So it looks like we've got KBC and Slidic ready to go for the next race. So do you guys have any final thoughts or thoughts on the tournament, thoughts on the race, anything you'd like to say to the world of speed gaming?
I hope that KBZ is actually using Winky on this level during the run. That's my current thought.
We might want to
Same.
require that, I
I'm
think.
saying. So.
Just to all the people watching, don't be afraid to try. I mean, I've only been playing this game for I think a month, and I was out of the country for a week of that. So, I mean, you can do anything if you just like practice it long enough. And I was working on a whole bunch of like new stuff before this, and I just decided not to incorporate it because I just didn't have enough time. But I mean, given time, like you can get down to really, really good times really easily. I think you just gotta
You can
grind
sub
at it.
Neo.
Good word.
Yeah, really
Exactly.
well said. I mean, anybody can join these tournaments. Not everyone here has been playing this game for years. And you got the SMW tournament, the Pokemon tournament, the Link to the Past tournament. There's constantly tournaments going on. Try to, if you're just a fan of speedrunning and you have access to being able to stream it, just find one of these games and join the tournament. They are so much fun.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Agreed completely.
Absolutely.
Good encouragement, guys. And if nothing else, there's always water RTA.
Water.
Yes.
Pretty tough category.
I'm gonna bop you, please. I'm gonna bop
hope
you
you
soon.
I hope you do. We
That's
need more
good.
runners in that category. It's
See,
pretty dead
this-
category. There's only one run.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't need to fall off stairs or jump over dogs, so
Yeah,
It
I
should be
kind of wish
easy.
I used map warp there, but
Yeah. Can only do so
So we are having both KBZ and Slidic ready
All right.
on
All right,
IRC.
awesome.
So thank you both, Spike and Lumo, for awesomeness.
thanks for the commentating and good luck to the next runners.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good luck to them as well.
Appreciate it,
Thanks,
guys. Take
GG,
care.
Spike, thanks for the race.
Thank you, Lumo. GG, dude.
Gee.
All right. And with
Right.
that, KBZ and Slidic about to take off. So I don't know anything about Slidic. I couldn't even find a
Ni-
time for him.
Neither.
So
I know he
don't
had
either?
a couple runs. I don't have his runs actually, unfortunately.
But what I would expect here is, honestly, I would expect this to be a pretty one-sided race. KBZ is one of the best runners of this game in the whole world.
yeah, and actually,
he's one of the favorites to be in the finals of the tournament.
Yeah.
So
actually one of the
hard
best
to
runners
think Slidic's gonna
overall.
put up